Hello, everyone. This is Rupa, and we are back with another podcast. Let me introduce you a serial entrepreneur, Mr. Gaurav Goenka. Let me start with may I know what made you get into the restaurant business?
To be very honest, like food has been my passion since I've been a kid. And in fact, I was so passionate about food that my childhood friends who I met in school, the dabba, whoever's food was yummier, I actually, went up to them and became friends with them.
By then, nobody in the business was in the restaurant business.
Nobody from my family, even from a distant family, or even my friends, I didn't know anybody who was into the restaurant industry.
So, which city and which brand was the first?
So we started with Bombay, and in Bombay we started with this brand called Rajdhani, which is like a Gujarati and Rajasthani thali. We opened across all the malls. We were present in more than 16 cities.
And which year you brought Rajdhani to Dubai?
So Dubai, actually, we were here previously. We had given a franchise, and the franchisee whom we had given it to, he was a little bit over smart, I would say. So he converted that brand into his very own brand name, and he removed Rajdhani from that. And then we re-entered the market couple of years later, and now even we are there, and even he coexists.
I think 60% restaurants they shut down in the first year, fail in the first year of their operation. So how do you compete with so much of competition?
So in this, honestly, you need to know what your USP is of the brand, and then you have to be true to it. So many people, get into the restaurant business because it's like glamour.
What has been your biggest struggle or the biggest challenge that you faced in this journey?
So I've been a franchisor as well as a franchisee. So I've worn both the hats. So because I was a franchisee initially, so I understood what I expect from a franchisor. So now when I'm a franchisor today, I know what to deliver to my franchisees.
What can make a restaurant profitable as soon as possible?
You need three things for to make a restaurant successful, which is location, location, location.
Oh. Hello, everyone. This is Rupa, and we are back with another podcast of the Business Blueprint powered by Black Swan Business Setup Services. So, paneer tikka, chicken tikka, ras malai, gajar ka halwa. You must be thinking why I'm saying all this. You must have eaten these dishes in an amazing restaurant, Hitchki or Rajdhani. You must be thinking who is behind the taste, behind the ambience, and the amazing customer service that you're receiving. Let me introduce you to that person, a serial entrepreneur, Mr. Gaurav Goenka. And he is going to spill the beans. A lot of information about the F&B industry, how the restaurants work, and why Dubai is becoming the gastronomy hub of the world. Let's meet him. Hi, Mr. Gaurav. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Rupa. Thank you for having me over.
Welcome and thank you so much for giving time and coming to our show. So, today we have a lot of questions from you, and we are going to bother you with a lot of, important questions about the industry, about your life, about your journey. Let me start with most of the restaurant owners that I know or people who are in the F&B business, either they're great chefs
Hmm.
or they're foodies or they have a family legacy business of the same. May I know what made you get into the restaurant business?
So, Rupa, to be very honest, like food has been my passion since I've been a kid. Like right from childhood days, my home food itself was very yummy, and my mom was a great cook. We had a house help who was also an excellent cook. So I was exposed to a lot of flavors, and my taste buds, I think, developed at a much earlier stage. And in fact, I was so passionate about food that my childhood friends who I met in school, the dabba, whoever's food was yummier, I actually, went up to them and became friends with them. So I always knew I'm going to do something in the food business, even from my college days, school days, even when I went to university. All my presentations were around food. In fact, my final dissertation was also about restauranting. So I always knew. So once I finished my university and I came back to India, I proposed to my father that I would like to start a restaurant business because none of us have ever done restauranting.
So by then, nobody in the business was in the restaurant business.
Nobody from my family, even from a distant family, or even my friends, I didn't know anybody who was into the restaurant industry. So my dad was very supportive, and I was fortunate that he allowed me to pursue my dreams. And that's how I started opening restaurants.
Wow. So which city and which brand was the first
So
How
we
you start?
started with Bombay, and in Bombay we started with this brand called Rajdhani, which is like a Gujarati and Rajasthani thali. So it was a very unique concept. The concept is there since years, but that time the mall culture was just booming,
Okay.
and the consumption pattern of Indians was increasing. Like people were going out, and this whole retail boom, multiplex boom, all that was happening at the right time.
Which year was this?
This was in 2004, 2005.
Okay.
So that is when I thought, let's take advantage of this retail boom. And when I used to go to these malls, I used to see that on the food court floor, there was an Indian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, but a pure vegetarian Gujarati thali segment is
Yeah.
something which we are proud to have created that sector. And that was a very niche for us, and we capitalized on that. We opened across all the malls. We were present in more than 16 cities at one point of time.
Wow. So I would like to just break down this journey from having love for food, interest in different tastes and flavors, okay, being encouraged to pursue what you want to do, something which nobody has done, a very courageous decision, and then planning of a niche and starting that business. Now I want to know, how did you prepare, how did you plan the location, how did you plan what cuisine you are going to launch, how this idea, who helped you out, or how did you manage to make this decision?
So I think, see, when we started back in 2005, 2006, every cuisine was, just blossoming. Like,
Okay.
if we look at my growing up years, there were not many restaurants in Bombay, and especially international cuisines and international concepts didn't exist.
Hmm.
Like today, the world has shrunk thanks to the social media, and, people are well traveled. But back in the day, every cuisine seemed like a niche.
Right.
But I was myself not very exposed to international flavors, so I was wanted to do something in the Indian space. And when I saw this Gujarati Rajasthani thali, see, Indians by nature we love unlimited stuff,
Yeah.
So so when we realized that Rajdhani is like an unlimited meal with 32 dishes on your platter, and you are being pampered like a king, and we are force feeding you literally.
Right.
And Indians love being, we call it Manuhar and Atithi Devo Bhav.
Exactly.
So that is something which we played on, and we knew from day one that this is a concept which is going to be very unique. And I put all my eggs in one basket that time, so we focused a lot on Rajdhani.
So your first brand was Rajdhani,
Correct.
and today how many branches of Rajdhani are there
So there are 28 in India,
Mhm.
and in Dubai we have one.
And which year you brought Rajdhani to Dubai?
So Dubai, actually, we were here previously. We had given a franchise in the year 2010, 2011,
Okay.
and we were operated very successfully for 4, 5 years. Then the franchisee whom we had given it to, he was little bit over smart, I would say. So he converted that brand into his very own brand name, and
Ah.
he removed Rajdhani from that. And then we re-entered the market couple of years later, and now even we are there, and even he
So
coexists.
you mean to say there's another brand similar as Rajdhani?
It's taken birth from Rajdhani. They learned the tricks of the trade from Rajdhani.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, great. So yeah, this thing is also another risk of this business.
So what happened, because we were very new to the business, so and this was our first international venture.
Yeah.
So our agreements also were not that strong. We were also doing many things in good faith, and in that optimism of growth, we didn't really tick all the boxes. But now that we've learned our lesson, so
Yeah.
now going forward, we obviously will take care of all aspects.
Wow.
Mm.
So yes, so these all gives you learnings, how
Yeah,
you burn your
yeah.
fingers, and then so Rajdhani, after Rajdhani, where what was the second brand that you ventured into?
So what happened that when I used to go to all these malls and all these places, I used to see that I'm just taking this one restaurant on that floor, and
Yeah.
there's so many others opening, and I was like, why should I restrict myself only to one particular cuisine?
Yeah.
So I always wanted to be a platform play where I have multi brands and multi formats. When I say multi formats, means I was even looking at a QSR, which is a quick service restaurant,
Right.
CDR, which is a casual dining restaurant, sports bars, so I wanted to have that whole
The whole
range.
range of
Yeah, so I believe in platform play, and I've always tried to build a very unique platform.
right.
So just for the heck of it, we don't add brands to our kitty. Every brand needs to have a unique novelty and a very strong differentiator from what others are offering.
Right.
So that is when I got the franchise of Manchester United sports bars.
Okay.
So because they were one of the largest brands in the world
Hmm.
from a sporting brand name, and so we were very fortunate that they chose us to represent them in India. And then we opened a QSR chain called Falafels. So that was something. Then we did a wood-fired oven pizza chain called Cafe Manji. Then
Wow.
we did another international brand from London called Ping Pong, which was only into dim sums. So I've always been on the lookout. I'm always, reading about what's happening globally, and I'm always trying to, find newer ways of creating new concepts.
So first you made Rajdhani successful, expanded it. Then you franchised a few international brands of different, fortes, and then so that you can get a hands-on experience on how different cuisines are working in that country. And then what was your next sell own brand?
So in this whole journey, I realized that, this was more like a learning phase for me where I was
Yeah.
working with international players. I was seeing how different cuisines are accepted.
Right.
In this journey, I even invested in few companies and I was on their board of directors actually. So, I
And all
invest.
restaurants.
Yeah, yeah. I've only done restaurant business my whole life, and I would love to continue that. But the couple of companies in which I was a part of the board and literally the founder investor in that sense was Impresario, which owns Social, Smokehouse Delhi.
Oh, wow.
So I was very fortunate to see the whole journey of these brands being
Taken.
developed in front of me, and then they've grown to a very large scale. So I'm really proud of those brands. Then even with Masala Library, Farzi, so I was a board member on that as well. And Mad Over Donuts, which was like a donut chain.
Yeah.
So it is actually a Singapore-based company. So there also I was one of the founder investors. So I just try to grasp as much knowledge as I can because honestly, for me, of course, it is a business, but I just love this business. So
You love this. You're so
yeah,
passionate about it.
yeah, and I'm honestly a very greedy guy. The more brands I can get, and the more
Oh.
brands I can have my fingers in.
So that is how you have that Rajasthan thali has all the dishes. So in restaurants also you want everything on your platter.
So in
Wow.
our business, it's always good to be hungry. So I'm always
Exactly.
hungry.
You're always hungry. Amazing. So I'm meeting a restaurant owner who's always hungry, hungry for more brands, hungry for more domains. Now, how did Hitchki came in the picture? When did you start Hitchki, and why did you name it Hitchki?
So when I was in UK, I used to, go a lot to all these other restaurants. And in one of my visits, I went to Dishum. And
Uh,
Dishum is a very popular brand there. And I personally was a big fan. Like I was amazed by the concept what they've created. They've just uplifted this whole Irani cafe concept.
okay.
So when I came back to India and the bars which were existing, they were just like like targeting teenagers firstly, then all the drinks and all were, your standard drinks and all. And the biggest point was that the DJ and all used to not play Bollywood songs. I'm a filmy buff and I know only Bollywood. Like I don't even know anything about the English music or something. I sitting in Bombay in the heart of Bollywood, I had to beg the DJ play one song of Hindi, one song of Hindi. And they used to refuse. So I was like, one day when I open a restaurant, I will make it a pure Bollywood bar.
Wow.
So keeping that in mind, keeping my Dishum experience in mind, keeping multiple things in mind, I created this brand Hitchki, where I was trying to fulfill all the things which I was missing. So wherever, like for example, the street food which we've grown up eating, like your dabelis, like your keema paos, like so those things were you would never get in a bar.
Yes.
Bar you would get just wings and nachos and all that. So we modernized that and presented it in a nicer manner. So that street food also we uplifted it. We gave that whole Bollywood touch to everything. Bollywood music started playing. So overall, it is like a proper 80s kid, like who I am, would want something was Hitchki.
Well,
Uh,
and all of us will thank you because I think we all are Bollywood lovers.
yeah,
And obviously, when we also travel across the globe, and we have seen this struggle of sometimes, the mood is right, the drink is right, and but you just want that one Bollywood song of
yeah,
your choice, and you just cannot play it.
You notice in any parties also, if English music is playing for a while, everybody's being their self, and yeah, they're having a good time. But the moment that one Hindi song plays, the energy in the room
So,
changes.
which one is your favorite song?
Quite a few. I'm a Jumma Chuma fan.
Oh, wow. And what movies do you like?
So I watch all kinds of movies, like even English movies I've seen a lot, and I'm a big movie buff, so I see all kind of cinema. But
Right.
of course, Hindi movies initially, like the previous Hindi movies used to be very good. Of late, whatever's coming out is I'm not a big fan of it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, Hitchki now, how many branches Hitchki has
So
now?
Hitchki, we have 12 in India, and we have two in Dubai currently.
So, now you're running so many restaurants in India, and you have already started, multiplying your restaurant brands in Dubai as well. What is the difference that you see in operating these brands in India versus operating them in Dubai?
So honestly, Rupa, both have their pros and cons. Like, India, in terms of consumption, in terms of the population, in terms of scalability, in terms of, so many different regions to cover. So India has those advantages, but of course, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the entire regulations, in terms of competition. So, so both have their pros and cons. But if I compare that to Dubai, Dubai, of course, is like a dream city in terms of infrastructure, security, safety. Everything is very good out here. But here, the problem, what I see in the food business, firstly, the population here is very less. We are dependent on tourism to the very large extent,
Yes.
and then scalability is an issue that you can't have umpteen number of restaurants of a particular brand. And the biggest issue I feel is seasonality. The Dubai market is very seasonal.
Yeah.
Like the summer times, there's a huge dip in the sales. And the Ramadan month now, of course, they've become very liberal, but yet I see there is a decline in
Obviously,
sales.
because a lot of people are not eating,
Correct,
and
correct, correct. So that I would say is the real difference between both. It's more to do with the scalability and the population size.
what are the advantages that you see being in Dubai?
So Dubai, firstly, you are the biggest advantage is that you are part of you're on the world map because
Yeah.
Dubai today has 200 nationalities and people from all over the world visit Dubai.
It's too visible, but in limelight always.
Yeah, so they visit Dubai for either forums or conventions or just their business travels or as a tourist because there's lots the city offers to tourists. So being in Dubai gives you a global recognition. That is the biggest advantage,
It's
which
like
is
putting your brand in the showcase.
correct.
Now the world can see.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So my idea also of opening in Dubai was this only that that it's like Dubai is the gateway to the world. So when people will come to Dubai, they'll experience Hitchki. Somebody might get excited and say, why not open in our country? So that was my main aim. But coming back to why, what are the advantages of Dubai was definitely, as I told you, that the infrastructure provided by the city is very good. The other thing which I personally like in Dubai is I get to learn a lot seeing the other kind of restaurants out here
Right.
because you have the best brands of the world in Dubai,
Yeah.
be it right from the ambience to the designs to the food to the presentations. So, for a person like me, this is like a 24-hour tuitions. So I'm
Exactly.
constantly learning and innovating, and we have a very strong R&D team. So I keep sharing stuff with them, and we try to innovate ourselves how we can also adapt to the local tastes.
So I see your research skills are very good and how you observe and learn from that. And then you're constantly working on innovation to make sure that the brand is innovating with time. That's a wonderful thing to learn for most of the restaurant owners. A lot of times people they get stuck with their one single idea and they just want that idea to work all the time and not innovate. And that is where they get stuck.
There's no right or wrong in this. Like, if you see the large companies of restaurant companies, they own single brands, be it Subway, be it
Yeah.
McDonald's. So it is about what you believe in. It is about your vision, your passion. Like today, if somebody is operating only one brand and they are doing it well and,
Hmm.
they can bring it to a certain amount of scale, that is also correct.
Right.
And but it's a very individual vision and an individual, what you want, your individual desire. is something which you need to know. So in
Right.
my case, I get very bored very easily with a similar kind of brand. So I'm always on the hunt for something new always.
Yeah, you want the chappan bhog on the
Yeah.
thali. You're the thali guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it too. Now, as you know, that being so many brands being here in this country, especially celebrity chefs owned by celebrities, restaurants owned by celebrities, and very popular restaurants are there in Dubai now, and from different countries. I think there must be restaurants owned by 176 nationalities or plus. But then, how do you cope up with this competition? Because research shows that yes, restaurant business is scaling up, the market size is also booming. However, still, I think 60% restaurants they shut down in the first year, fail in the first year of their operation, and many fail in within the first 5 years of their operation. So how do you compete with so much of competition? Because I'm sure in home country you are competing with less variety of cuisines, and here you are absolutely competing with the whole world. What's the strategy?
So in this, honestly, you need to know what your USP is of the brand. Like, I'll give you an example. Like when we launched Rajdhani in Dubai, so there was no other format serving like this unlimited food with this pure vegetarian kind of crowd, and 32 dishes. And in that also, we focused only on the Gujarati and Rajasthani cuisine. We could have easily added Malabari dishes if we wanted to, but that was not the brand. The brand was about Gujarati and Rajasthani.
Yeah.
So, firstly, you need to find that novelty factor, that the USP of your brand, and then you have to be true to it. Like, just because in 6 months I could have said, no, no, Dubai is filled with, the Kerala crowd, so we should add Kerala dishes. But we didn't go down that path because then you're confusing the brand and you're diluting what you've built over the years. So you have to be true to the brand. You have to not compromise on anything. But coming back to the restaurants shutting in the first year, so there are various factors why they shut. So many people, get into the restaurant business because it's like glamour. Like they get recognition. There's suddenly, there's a face which people recognize. Ki, okay, he owns this restaurant. So, many people don't come into this business for the right reasons. They come in for glamour. They could come in for networking that, if I open a restaurant, I'll get to meet this one, I'll get to meet that one.
Or sometimes they're just driven by the fact that okay, I am so good in cooking, or I am such a foodie, so I should open a restaurant.
That's what I'm saying. That so you need to find the right reason why you're entering the restaurant business. Like in my case, I entered because I just love this business and I love food. And I'm not even a cook. I can't make anything, but I understand the fundamentals of this business. So that is why I'm here. But where people go wrong is because of glamour, as I mentioned, because of just wanting to get recognized. And the most important thing is that they don't plan for the business gestation period. Like for example, you built the restaurant, you
Mm.
opened it, but there is a gestation period before your restaurant starts earning for yourself.
Right.
So many people don't plan for that working capital, and because of that, they from the first month itself they are under
Under
pressure.
pressure.
Yeah. And because of that, then they start cutting corners, compromising, and then the quality deteriorates, staff starts leaving. So it's like a snowball effect, it keeps building up and all. So all these things you need to address before you get into this business.
And now, in this, your whole entire journey of having your own brands, then working with franchisees, then franchising your brands to others, I'm sure the picture is not that rosy. What has been your biggest struggle or the biggest challenge that you faced in this journey?
So I've been a franchisor as well as a franchisee. So I've worn both the hats. So because I was a franchisee initially, so I understood what I expect from a franchisor. So now when I'm a franchisor today, I know what to deliver to my franchisees. So it was a good learning phase for me. But what I've learned, the challenges which you said, so I'll mention three of them. So like Ping Pong, it was a UK based dim sum brand, and when they launched in India, it's a wonderful brand, but I think we were a little ahead of its time. And when we launched in India, we needed to adapt a little bit to the local taste buds and to the local eating habits, which those brands were very rigid about. They said, no, you cannot. So they were not very flexible. And as a result, within a year's time, we had to shut shop. So now when I'm franchising my brands, I take into account the local taste buds, the local preferences, and we do try to adapt to the certain local
As well,
flavors or
localization
demands.
is
Yeah,
very
because
important.
no point, because every country has their own uniqueness and a unique style and something which they expect. So this is one lesson I learned, that we should be flexible and we should be adaptive to the local cuisine. Second challenge which I really faced was during COVID, which not only me, all of us faced it, and the restaurant industry was very, very badly hit. And because see, we are a people's industry. There's our main capital is human capital.
Mm.
So all our staff and chefs and service staff
You
and
can't feed food to robots.
yeah.
You need people.
So it was a very, very tough time. We were feeling helpless. Like, we want to help everybody, we want to find a solution, but we ourselves were left in this lurch. And it was such an unprecedented time for all of us. So that was a very challenging phase. But with everybody's support and everybody's collaboration, we could come over that phase. And unfortunately, we had to shut few restaurants. We had to let go of some of our people. So that is something, whenever a restaurant shuts, it really hurts us, because not only from a monetary perspective, people lose their jobs, the brand which you built with so much love and effort, you can, once you see it shutting. So it is a painful experience.
Yeah, and restaurant is something which is built with a lot of love,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. So from the ambience to the food and everything, so much of preparation goes behind it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one more thing I would like to say about, when you said those people cook well, so they said they'll open the restaurant. So here I would like to say where I also learned about this. So there are two real aspects of restauranting. One is the creative side, which is your design, your ambience, your food,
Yeah,
your service, your furniture, your crockery, cutlery. So that all comes under the creative aspect. So you might be creatively very good, and you could deliver that. But the second aspect is the business aspect.
right.
So many people focus only on the creative aspect
Yeah.
and they don't really focus on the business aspect. When I say the business aspect, means your purchases, your project cost, your returns, your ROI, your cash flows, your working capital. So these all things which people find boring because they are more creatively inclined. But this is the backbone of the business.
This is the backbone of
So
the.
honestly, I would confess that even I myself used to not focus much on that, but I've learned my lesson. So now it needs to be well balanced. And if you don't know it yourself, you need the right people to help you and
To
guide
help
you,
you
and
do
the
that.
right consultants, and which is available all over.
I absolutely endorse your
Hmm.
statement because as a business setup company, we used to help a lot of people open restaurants, and I've seen many clients coming in who are really good in cooking, or they really have good taste buds, and they started the brand with a lot of passion.
Hmm.
But I've seen them, like, in a year or two, shutting it down because they could not manage the business part of it. And I'm sure a lot of things comes over there, whether it is building the right team, whether it is the procurement, whether it's dealing with the regulations. So there are a lot of other stuffs that they need to either learn by themselves or get the right people, like you said.
Correct.
That's so important. So now in restaurant business, ultimately it's a business, and where it is business, there comes profit. So in your entire journey, I'm sure you said that you have to wait for the gestation period,
Hmm.
and restaurant businesses, they cannot give you profits within a month or two or a year. You have to wait for the right time. But still, what do you feel are the right things to do, or what can make a restaurant profitable as soon as possible or in the fastest time?
So see, the for us now in the restaurant industry, there's one mantra we use, which is you need three things for to make a restaurant successful, which is location, location, location.
Oh,
So it is like entertainment,
entertainment, entertainment.
entertainment.
I can see the
You can see the
the
Bollywoodness.
Bollywood inside.
So the thing is, so the real estate costs, which have, all over, not only in Dubai, in fact, in India or even globally, the real estate cost is one of the factors why most of the restaurants shut. Because there are limited spaces where everybody wants their brands to be. So choosing the right location at the right commercials, according to me, is the biggest thing which you need to be concerned about. Once you've got that, of course, your concept, your food, your chef, all that needs to be on board. Like, that I'm not discounting, but considering all those things are taken care of, only from a business aspect, if I tell you, for me, the paramount thing is finding the right real estate and the right location at the right terms and conditions. That is the main thing. Post that, then you should be very, very cognizant of your purchases. Your food cost should not go beyond a certain point. You should have processes and systems in place so that there are no pilferages or wastages, which just increase the food cost and ultimately hit the bottom line. And the third thing, at least in Dubai, we see that the labor cost is very expensive compared to what we get in India. So, but we are a people's industry, so we do need people, and we are very empathetic towards our people. We train them, and we really get the best talent. Finding the right talent is also a skill, and if you have the right talent, who are well trained, you have the right location at good terms, you have a right team helping you get the best products out at a reasonable food cost, then you are
You
definitely
have the right result.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So exactly on the location point, it reminded me of something. So nowadays, a lot of cloud kitchens have come in the picture. I think, specifically to, eliminate this cost from the business. So there are people trying to give the same taste, get the best chefs and everything. But it's like obviously a lot of people after COVID are into home delivery, delivered the food at home, and they want to save time, save cost. So how do you think that this thing is gonna affect the restaurant industry?
So, you know what, in the restaurant industry, there's one thing which we all are victims of, which is a herd mentality. So, when one person does well in a certain sector or a certain new concept, everybody starts following that.
Following.
So, this cloud kitchen phenomena, obviously, during COVID, really took off. And there were reasons for it because your physical restaurants were shut. So, people were dependent on home delivery and all. And that's why we saw this boom of cloud kitchens. But if you really ask me from an economic standpoint, it doesn't make sense, at least to us, because we've always done restaurants, so we understand the whole logistics of it. We understand the whole P&L of it. But in cloud kitchen, the aggregators who are there, who deliver your food and who help you publish your menu on their
Apps
apps.
or
So they charge like an insane amount of commission. So that goes to them. Then on top of that, your own food cost is there. Then your packaging cost is there. Then, so how we do it is we use something called a hybrid model. So where our restaurant anyways is there, we are anyways paying rent, we are anyways incurring those costs. From that, we are running couple of cloud kitchen brands. But somebody who's dedicatedly running a cloud kitchen, I don't, unless they really reach a great amount of scale and volume, I don't see them ever being in the green for the long time. Could be few months here and there, because the biggest thing is there's no barriers to entry. Anybody can start. Like, there could be, if you type biryani today on any of these apps, you'll get 10,000 options.
yes,
So there's no differentiator, there's no uniqueness.
yes,
And then to create that uniqueness and differentiator, you really need to spend on marketing.
right.
So like for example, Behrouz biryani. So today I know that name out of those 10,000 because they've really spent a lot on marketing. They've made sure that that name is instilled in my brain.
Right.
So that is something which some these cloud kitchen guys have to do if they are small time operators.
So, as a restaurant, like for example, businesses like us, we do a lot of things to retain customers, like service business or let's say traders. But in today's time, where everybody's taste buds also have less attention span, like our brains, like for social media, we can't see something the same. We want different content every moment. So, even today, people want to try different tastes, different cuisines every day, every weekend. How do you retain your customers, or is there at all a concept of retaining your customers, or is it always you look for new customers coming in the business?
The challenge is, of course, to retain them as well as get newer customers. So that is what we are working on constantly. And there are a couple of things which we need to keep in mind for that. What is a brand? A brand means consistency. Okay, so today you come to a Rajdhani anywhere in the world because you know that there's a certain promise, there's a certain expectation which you have from it. So, how to retain customers is that you need to be true to the concept. You need to be as consistent as always. You need to make sure that even if you sell one thali a day, it has to be the right food in the right ambience with the right service style, because that one person will go out and tell 100 people that, this is what Rajdhani should be. So, we have to be true to the concept. Our restaurant industry is so dynamic in nature. Every 6 months, there's a new trend. There's a superfoods. There's now, this whole healthy angle of gluten and this and that. So we have to constantly be on the lookout for what's happening. We need to be well versed with all the trends which are there. We need to globally understand what are the new trends happening in the West, because ultimately it all, trickles down to Middle East and then from here to India.
Right.
So these are the things. And if you ask me what gives me the biggest pride of this business is that, this is one, restaurants are one place where all your five senses is something which we need to satisfy.
Oh,
Because, when you enter the place, the music which you play, that has an effect on you. The food what you see has an effect on you. The smell, the taste. So, all your five senses is something which we need to satisfy. So that is a big challenge. So we cannot go wrong in any aspect.
you're so right. Because now I know why when I'm in a restaurant, we just forget everything else. That's why most of the important discussions or decisions of our life or proposals or a date, everything we do in a restaurant, because we just want the other person to forget everything and focus on, because these restaurants are occupying all our five senses.
No, no, and we are honestly responsible for your happiness. Like, today, whoever comes to a restaurant is coming for some kind of celebration.
Yeah.
Very rarely, if you've broken up, you'll come for a few drinks. But otherwise, you're coming for some sort of a celebration, be
Yeah.
it your anniversary, be it your promotion, be it something. So,
Even our breakup is we're coming for consolation. Like we want somebody to console us.
correct. So that's why it's a huge responsibility for us to make sure that when you come, we deliver as per your expectation. And that is where training comes into play. That is where the right kind of team comes into play, the right kind of ambience, the temperature, everything, the minutest details need to be looked
Is
into.
And I really liked your sentence that brand means consistency. This is such a strong statement. I think I'm going to put it on my wall. And because, yes, like for example, if it is McDonald's or Pizza Hut, I think when we travel across the world and when we go to an outlet, and if even if there is a slightest difference in taste, we do we do notice it, that oh, okay, like McDonald, the aloo tikki was different in India, and okay, here Dubai it's different, Singapore is different. So we, when it is a brand, we do expect consistency, and obviously the brands, they do localize themselves, so obviously a little difference sometimes is there. But yes, how we are treated, what offers are there, we expect consistency from a brand. That is such a great statement. All the entrepreneurs that I interview, I always ask that how do you think AI can disrupt your business, or it can affect your business, good or bad? What do you have to say? Do you think AI has any impact on the food business or the restaurant business?
So, see, today, if you see, not only the restaurant industry, all of us in general are living two lives. One is the real life where we actually meet people, we actually have this kind of a conversation, we're actually discussing ideas. But the other life, which is your social life and this whole virtual life, is, in fact, if you ask me, has overtaken this personal life. Like, I don't remember the last time I've had this kind of a conversation where we are discussing things in a very constructive manner. So what has happened, which I tell my friends also, I said, this whole social networking was created to connect people, but I feel in a way they've disconnected people in the real sense. They've connected them virtually, they've connected them in a very digital space, but that real values, real discussions have all gone. I entered this business also because, of the connectivity with people. I love my staff. I love seeing guests dine at our restaurant. So I love that people's interaction. But because of this social media and social networking, all that has taken a back seat currently. But AI also falls into that bracket. So of course AI is a tool which needs to be utilized, and it is very nascent at the moment. So there would be lot many things coming with AI where I'm sure we will benefit in the long run. But one thing which AI will not be able to replace is creativity. See, what does AI do? Whatever's out there already is something which it collates and gives you the answer to your
Automates
solution.
it.
Yeah, so the data needs to be out there, which they collate in whatever your question is, and they give you the the result. But things which are not yet created, things which are yet in our head, things which what is we that is why we need to constantly innovate. Those things, so AI will not be able to replace those things. So, and especially in our business, they might help us in marketing, they might help us in copywriting, they might help us in menu creations. But the dish itself, the service itself, those, that human element will always remain. So I think the way forward should be a good balance between both. Wherever we need AI, we should use it. But just to prove a point and that herd mentality that we are an AI driven restaurant, I don't see that happening very soon. Could be, in few years,
Few years.
AI is even cooking the food. You
Most
never
probably.
know.
The robots giving tadka on the wood.
You never know. But yeah, so I feel the going forward, the balance should be maintained.
Right.
That
So now 2025, it's 2025, everybody's making resolutions. It's February. I'm sure you must have your own plans. So you have already created such a big empire and you have set examples. Now what's next? What are you going to do? What's your plan?
my first resolution was to lose weight, but in my industry, it's very difficult to do that. That's just an excuse. If I want to, I can. No, so my plan is honestly, so we had come here to open restaurants to take it globally, and 2 years of COVID had disrupted that entire plan. And the next 2 years, we were just reviving and coming back on our feet. So this year, I foresee that we would be opening quite a few restaurants, at least in Dubai to begin with. We are looking at actively franchising our brands, which is Hitchki and Rajdhani. And the markets which I'm really, really focusing on is GCC and, of course, Saudi, because, everyone is talking a lot about Saudi, and it's like, really as an economy also, it's growing. So I'm focusing on that. There are certain other markets like Singapore, London, which just sound good on our portfolio, and there are reasons for it because there is a large population there. There's a large tourist population. Again, it's multinationalities in these cities. They are in a way international cities. So the more you have your presence in these cities, it elevates your brand image as well. So this year, definitely, I'm going to be doing a few more restaurants in Dubai to begin with, and then hopefully couple of global ones as well.
Oh, wonderful. So it was such a great experience talking to you. I think I was literally in the center of the restaurant world, and I'm so happy to see how you have grown and how you're a passion-driven person, how much you love food and the food industry. I'm sure you have a lot to give or a lot to teach to people trying planning to get into the market. And I'm very happy that you've started franchising your brands so people who are new in the market and wants to get into the industry, you can take his help. Or I'm sure it's better to have an experienced person on board rather than burning your fingers by yourself. So it was great talking to you, a wonderful session, and absolutely loved it. And I relate with you in so many places. Even I'm a Bollywood lover. I love the Bollywood numbers. Even I'm a food makes me happy, and so, congratulations for all the other ventures that you'll be doing. Best wishes.
So firstly, I would like to thank you for having me over and for, making me share my thoughts. And, honestly, the questions matter more than the answers, because if you ask the right questions, the answers come out. So you've done a great job by asking me the right questions. And,
Thank you.
hopefully this conversation will help budding restaurateurs. And always, if you need me for any of these sessions, I'm always available. And I would love to, help and guide in whichever manner I can. We ourselves are learning, because as I told you, this is such a dynamic business. So we also are constantly learning each day. But whatever we can pass on, we would be more than happy to do so.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You will trust me today after this podcast, whenever I'll go to a restaurant and I'll take that first bite, it will remind me of a person, how he used to eat tiffins from his friend's bag, how a person took the courage of telling his father that I don't want to do what you want me to do, but I want to open a restaurant, something which you have nobody in the family has done. It will remind me of a person who has researched so well, who has run around for the right location, who has fought to get the best spot on the in the city, who has handpicked team members and trained them with love, who has gone to multiple restaurants before planning that what cuisine he's going to work on, who has traveled the world before taking the decision what music he will play in the restaurant. Like, what a wonderful, so much of hard work goes behind that experience that we get in that half an hour in that restaurant. But trust me, it's absolutely worth it. The stress it takes out from us, and the important deals that we sign on that table, the proposals that are accepted on the table, I think all the thanks goes to you guys and all the hard work that you have done behind it.
This is similar, like this journey will be similar to most of the restaurateurs, because they see this is a passion driven business. So whatever you summarize it so beautifully, but it would be applicable to all these brands which you see, you know.
Absolutely, you're being humble about it, but definitely your journey is special. That's why not one, not two, I think 60 plus branches you're running. It's out of my imagination, and making sure that every outlet is giving the same kind of experience that you have dreamt of, that you want for your customers.
Big credit to my team as well. See, this business, you need a very good team whose thoughts are aligned with yours,
Absolutely.
their culture is aligned with yours, their value system is aligned with yours. So I've been very fortunate that, I've had the right team members with me over the years. And, we are all, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, we are always hungry. So we hopefully will be, achieving many more milestones in our life.
Okay, if not favorite dialogue, at least tell me the favorite song.
So I'll tell you both. For one is a deep answer, one is a humorous answer. So the deep answer is the song first. So I love the song "तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी हैरान हूँ मैं तेरे मासूम सवालों से परेशान हूँ मैं." So I
Wow.
just think that these two lines summarize life so beautifully,
Very
and
beautiful.
it always has a sense of curiosity in it. That there's so many questions thrown at you, and although you are amazed by it, but there is a certain innocence in it and certain positivity also in it, that you look forward to the next day.
Right.
And in terms of dialogue, so people call me Go Go because of Gaurav Goenka.
Yes.
So the people keep saying कि crime master Gogo
टाइम मस्त
आया
आए
हूँ
तो
तो
कुछ
कुछ तो
लेके
लेके
जाएंगे.
जाऊंगा. So this was the humorous bit.
वंडरफुल. तो मतलब कहीं भी गए, किसी कुछ खाया तो भाई कोई आइडिया तो लेके जाना है. कहीं पे ड्रिंक किया, कुछ आइडिया लेके जाना है. So you take
Correct,
the lessons out of wherever
correct.
you go and you
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
in your
yeah.
business.
Very
Wonderful.
true.
Thank you so much. So thank you audience for watching our podcast. I'm sure you like the podcast. Do let us know what else you would like to hear from us. Don't forget to like and subscribe us. Put on your comments what exactly you liked about this podcast. Thank you. This is Rupa Jha signing out. Keep listening to the Business Blueprint powered by Black Swan Business Setup Services. Thank you.